Hello, I'm Rosalie Michaels, and welcome to the Pain Channel. Here at the show, we're fortunate to work with a wide range of inspirational people on a weekly basis. So wonderful stories of hope and compassion are not uncommon. But a story we recently came across was particularly touching. And for me, it was special not just because of the compassion involved, but where the compassion came from. Imagine that you've just been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Now imagine it's your family member. What would you do? What could you do? Where do you find hope when it seems all hope is lost? This is the story of a family facing death and the doctor who helped them face it.
Harmon has probably got to be one of the most caring and loving person I've ever seen. She would help people. She was a nurse, and she worked in mother-baby or labor and delivery. The people there, that was like her other family. She really enjoyed working there. She enjoyed helping and doing what she could. And she tried to be the best that she could. Some of the things that she would do is on Christmas and Thanksgiving she would work so that another mother could go home and be with her family. Harmon had a way of making everything enjoyable. I'm not saying that our life was perfect. Everybody knows that that's true. But I'll tell you what, there wasn't a day go by that she didn't probably help somebody. You think of the best person you know, multiply their personality by 10, and you got my wife. The diagnosis was lung cancer with that had metastasized to the bone, and it had metastasized to the pelvic area. They were talking about pain management, someone to help her with the pain and stuff like that. Our son had mentioned Berger was the one that he went with, and so I says, okay, but we're going to go to Dr. Choi and find out who he recommends. Lo and behold, guess who Dr. Choi recommended? Dr. Berger. And so that's what we did. We went with Dr. Berger, and I am glad of it. I am glad of it.
The doctors in hospital asked me to come by, and I came by and visited with her, and we established the formal physician-patient relationship, and then she came and followed up with me after in the clinic throughout her course of chemotherapy, and then ultimately into hospice as well.
She connected with a lot of people. She connected more with some and less with others, but still connected. But between her and Dr. Berger, man, I think it was just, I don't know. I think it was just two people meeting at the right time.
Her pain was relatively well controlled at that time, but despite that, she had already had a connection with me, and she's a nurse. She was in the healthcare field, and so she knew what the future might bring for her, that she might be in more pain, and she wanted to kind of cement that connection with me early on, and so she asked to have me consulted to get involved in her care early to help with the pain management. The facts was that she had metastatic cancer. It was a terminal illness. Her time was thought to be months to a year, even at her initial diagnosis. And she knew that any treatment for her would be palliative, so it would be designed to reduce symptoms, but not designed to cure the cancer. She was a little bit scared about the future, what the future would bring, but she's also very much a realist and was throughout the course of her illness, and understood what her prognosis was.
The three doctors that we had, the oncologist, the X-ray radiologist, and then the pain med doctor. I call them my dream team. I could not ever find three guys that worked so well together. They weren't doctors to her. They were family, friends.
The best end result for taking care of somebody with a terminal illness is to make that process as comfortable for them as possible, to relieve the pain, the suffering, any of the side effects from the chemotherapy or any of the medications or interventions that I'm going to offer.
We had already tried 2 different forms of chemo. When Dr. Choi came on board, he told us that there was this procedure that he wanted to try and everything else. So we went ahead and we tried this and chemo. And we tried it and everything else. I mean, and then when that didn't work, when it seemed to get aggressive, he told us there's this other one, but it's the rough way to go. And so Harmon, being Harmon, says, okay, let's do it.
If the medications weren't effective for her, if she was having side effects from them, that there were other options. And the other option we talked about and ultimately pursued was an implantable spinal pain pump, which is a small surgical procedure that allows us to deliver all those medications in the spine and often helps pain, but really reduces all the side effects, all the burden of those other medications that the patients are taking. We got her pain under good enough control to leave hospital. She finished the workup that she needed by her cancer doctors and the other doctors in hospital. That got her enough pain relief to get out of the hospital and then come see me in the clinic. And from then on, we made adjustments.
During this 3-month period, my wife reached her 69th birthday on May 22nd. We had been promising her to take her out dancing. She loved to dance. So we were going to celebrate her birthday at this little bar that we know of. That it was a nightclub, you could call it. And all the way there, I'm going like, how am I going to dance with my wife? She's in a wheelchair. How am I going to dance with my wife? And I got in there, and everybody could tell something was wrong. So I grabbed her and I took her out, wheelchair and all. And I just let loose of the brakes and I push her back, push her forward, push her back, push her forward, swing her around. They said the kids said that when she came back, her smile was so big, it was unreal. So we were all able to celebrate her birthday together. And we know she had fun.
What really excited me about pain management initially, and then what continues to excite me, is really the ongoing continuing care with patients. We get to make changes to their care plan together, and we come up with those changes together, and I get to see them back after we make those changes, and I get to see how they're doing after. You're helping with pain, but you're getting somebody their life back. You know, you're getting somebody more functional. They're excited because they're happy, they're so grateful because you've helped their pain, but really you've given them back so many other things too, and that's what they're really grateful for.
There were times when she just couldn't believe where it was going. We brought in hospice, and they were very good.
She, again, being a realist, and she's very proactive, and her family is very proactive in the whole process, enrolled with hospice early, which is important, and to give her extra support as she needed, and she enrolled in home hospice.
It took a little while, but we finally convinced her that that was the way to go. We weren't giving up, we were just helping her.
She understood that her disease was terminal, and for her it was, I'm most concerned about reducing my pain and suffering and you know, and burden with other medications and whatnot. That was her primary concern early on, and so because that's a focus of hospice, her mindset and her family's mindset, I don't think shifted all that much. She did shift kind of into the mode of taking advantage of the services the hospice has to provide, but her thinking didn't shift. She was offered an additional round of chemotherapy, as I recall, right kind of toward the end, at which she refused. And she said, you know, I don't need this anymore. This isn't going to cure my illness.
We called Dr. Berger's office and they said, well, bring her right in, bring her right in. So we started to get her up and it was just too much for her. Really, really, really too much for her. So we called him back and says, we can't get her there. We cannot get her there. It just hurts too much.
The message was relayed by one of my medical assistants who had really connected with the patient and her family as well. And my medical assistant, you know, sort of conveyed the importance of the message as well. You know, that they're really concerned about her, and they really want us to know that. And so over lunch, it turns out that Carmen's home was not too far from the office, and my medical assistant and myself, we jumped in the car and went over there to her house.
It got to about noon and stuff like that, and there comes a car and it parks over there. Well, Sharon gets out, but not only Sharon, but Dr. Berger himself. When I seen that, a doctor making house calls? No, it doesn't happen. Oh, he came in there and fixed her up.
We made an adjustment to her pump so that her pain pump, so that they wouldn't have to worry at all about, you know, about how her pain would be controlled. They wouldn't have to give her any of additional medications or anything, and made sure she was comfortable.
And then he turned around at me and she said, she won't feel no pain. And I believed him. Everybody was surprised. Everybody was. Doctors don't make house calls. No matter what, doctors don't make house calls. Well, the final day, it happened early in the morning. She rested fairly comfortably that night. And I think it was because the pains were kicking in and everything else. And I decided I'd been there all night, and so had both my daughters. We kind of just crawled up and slept on the bed with her every night. And I decided I was going to get up and make pancakes. So I was out there and everything else, and someone says that I needed to come back. And I says, what? And they says, well, her breathing has changed. And so I came back. A little while before that, me and my daughters were talking about, it seems like she was hanging on for something, waiting for something, but the family was all there. We couldn't see what it was. Couldn't see what it was. So I came back in to the bedroom, and I don't know. I don't know what made me do it, but I got up close to her by her ear, and I told her, I says, your work is complete. The kids and I are going to have to take care of ourselves. So it's all right. It's all right. You can go now. I sat down and I grabbed her hand, and for some reason, I put my fingers on her pulse. I felt her last heartbeat. And then she was gone.
Somebody that you still think about, that I still think about on probably a daily basis. That you know, she's been gone no more than 6 months, but her family still comes in every once in a while to give me to let me know how they're doing, how they're coping, how the family's doing, and it's somebody that I think about all the time. Yeah, and it's important. It kind of keeps me going.
There's got to be a good rapport between the doctors and the patient. And I don't mean just, I'm coming in for my appointment and you're going to take care of me type of thing. I recommend that part of your dream team be Dr. Berger. I couldn't think of anybody else to be part of that team than him.
Experience the Pain Center of Arizona and get back into life. Call 1-888-PAIN-CENTER.
What an inspirational story. It's wonderful to know that there are doctors out there that care so much. And if you'd like to learn more about Dr. Berger, go to the Pain Center of Arizona's official website. Stay healthy, my friends. I'm Rosalie Michaels, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Pain Channel.